another episode of Ideally, though.
Ideally, though.
If you're just joining us, I'm your host, Erica, and with me is my hubby, my bestie, my butter biscuit.
Here, what up?
We are officially in the month of October.
Yes, spooky season.
Yeah. Also, it's Happy Hispanic Heritage Month.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
All my Hispanic brothers and sisters
in
the struggle.
Shout out to y'all.
I love October. It's probably my favorite month, and my favorite, Halloween's my favorite holiday.
Okay, so I like all of the winter months. Summer is my absolute favorite season, but the winter months are my favorite because of the holidays and how festive it usually feels and gets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like dressing up. I feel like I didn't notice until I got older, but I've always dressed up for Halloween and did something different every year, so I'm excited to dress up again.
I mean, I wasn't the dressing up type at all until you started making us dress up.
Yeah.
Basically as a family, as a core, and then it became fun. Honestly,
Yeah.
It slowly has become fun. Now, I mean, I'm now at the point where if I had the cash for it, I would cosplay as like some of my favorite things every now and again for sure. So, yeah, you've enlightened me to the dress up for Halloween thing.
Take it to another level, and people on the street know who you are. They're like, oh,
yeah, that's cool. That's cool, and that's happened a few times to us when we've been out and about. You've killed the costume game these last few years, so it's been pretty fun to see.
I can't wait for you guys to see our new costume. I'm excited. I usually like to dress in 2 different costumes for Halloween, but I'm just doing one this year.
Yeah.
And yeah, I hope you guys. I've been wanting to do this costume for a couple years.
You've said
like
this
5
for
years.
a while.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
So when I see people dressed up, I'm like, oh my gosh, why did I let it go another year? And I haven't done it.
You're a big planner for your costumes, to be honest. You're a real big at planner when it comes to the costumes.
Yeah, because I'm like, I want to get it right. Like the small details to me matter.
Mm.
So when I see someone who doesn't, do the whole outfit, they may only do a shirt, or they may do just like one piece of of the costume. I'm just like, you could have did a little bit more.
Right.
It's not that expensive to do Halloween costumes, really. And if it's going to be expensive, then just do it like in the summer. Like buy your stuff in the summer and work your way up, because that's what I do.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been able to pull off some pretty cool costumes, and you've been able to do some pretty nice ones that I like a lot. I mean, this is incredible. It's pretty dope.
Yeah, the whole family, yeah. You know what's been nuts, and it's only been a week? We've probably had like half a dozen people die on us.
Yeah. It's been a rough week for a lot of folks, man.
Like Dikembe Mutombo.
Mutombo, yeah.
I didn't know he had brain cancer.
Me either.
The lady from Harry Potter.
Yeah, the old lady from Harry Potter. I can't remember.
She actually had cancer.
Forgive us for not remembering names if we do.
Yeah, she actually had cancer while filming the last installment of Harry Potter.
No shit.
She just didn't want to let any of her fans down.
Man, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's kind of in the same vein of forgive me for forgetting his name, but Black Panther.
Oh,
Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah,
Boseman, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you're just that good of a professional. Like, you're a professionalist.
Yeah.
And, people are counting on you. Not just, like, fans, but cast, like, crew.
Yeah.
People who need to get paid.
Yeah,
that
for
happens.
Sure. For sure.
John Astin, the one who played on Beverly Hills Cop, the franchise.
Oh, yeah.
He's gone. And then John Amos.
Yeah.
The father from Good Times, Coming to America. That's 2 people that Eddie Murphy worked with that is gone within this week.
Yeah.
And I'm just naming a couple.
I've heard, in regards to John Amos, I heard from the Breakfast Club in particular that the family is suspecting some sort of foul play, apparently.
I feel like for the last probably 6 months, it's been this weird rift between, like, the siblings.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming it's gonna be a hot mess as to like estate and money, and probably, like you said, probably trying to dive in and see if it's foul play, because the daughter said she found out about her dad's passing on social media the way everybody else did. So
yeah, that's crazy.
I don't know what the son, her brother, is doing or whatever, but I don't see this being like a pleasant or easy like passing for John. And some people thought John had died months ago. And I'm like, no, people remember there was that false thing that came out saying John Amos
That's
died,
right.
and people thought that he had died then. But then there was videos that came out with him like in his bed and things like that. So yeah, it's really now.
Man, it's been a rough week. It's been a rough week, few days. You know, I really condolences and shouts out to everybody who's going through it. Like, you know, be strong for sure. That's rough.
How are you feeling about the whole Cardi B and Offset situation? Like, they've been on and off with this whole cheating thing for years now, probably like 5 years, and it seems like finally she's had enough and she's done.
I've seen a lot of different opinions about this whole entire situation, and it is kind of like splitting the Red Sea in a way where you're like you're either for Cardi or you are for like Offset. And that's just how it goes. It
seems like it's like for women or for men in a sense, like fuck boys, because it's like, at least what I'm seeing on the internet, for people who think what Cardi B is saying or whatever is going on, like during her pregnancy, is like, how could you do that? And you know, he said that she fucked while she was pregnant, and she said and did, and I was like, she could just be cutting him deep, and he may not know that. Or she really did, and it's like, so what? Because, you know, you've been cheating on me with every pregnancy I had. And, I mean, unpopular opinion, if men could get pregnant, they will be screwing people while they're pregnant too. And it wouldn't be their baby mamas.
That's fair.
So, you know, I think he just hurt that he can tell she's finally freaking done.
I think there's a level of responsibility that goes to both parties, wherein I think Cardi is at a point and at a degree where she's had enough, but it's also her fault that she's gotten to that point because she allowed him to do these things, and taking it back because we already know they've had like the differences, and anytime there was like a breakup, there was like a grand gesture, an apology or some shit. I in particular remember one being him on stage or some shit with like roses years ago, right?
Oh, wow.
Or something like that, telling her like he won't do it again. He's sorry and stuff. It was one of the first times he got caught, if I'm not mistaken. And it's happened, like you said, every pregnancy, and probably, you know, in the midst of not being. It's just that relationship. So there's a bit of responsibility that I feel like she has to have for herself in regards to letting him do these types of things. But also, I feel a lot more responsibility is on Offset because when you don't really realize what you got until it's gone. And this is one of those key situations. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's young also, I feel like. And with this type of situation, when you know the kind of like high caliber woman you have, you want to do the things to keep them. Right? And I'd imagine that his not being attentive in the way he should be, and, you know, wandering eyes and stuff, if you will, is part of the reason why he's going through the hurt he's going through.
I think he's going through the hurt, too, because, you know, women always level up. So,
yeah,
it could be somebody who, he may not be a rapper, but he can be a multimillionaire CEO somewhere. And he's like, are you fucking kidding?
It's going to be hard for him to catch another Cardi B.
Yeah.
He can have a baddie at any point.
Yeah, there's baddies walking down the street who homeless.
Right, you know, but who's homeless?
You know, who just became homeless, freshly new. There's baddies all over, like, women are beautiful.
Word.
But
you're not going to catch a Cardi B. They're 1 in a million. You know what I mean? And so I think that's that's part of it. The and did from Cardi is kind of, I feel like, her standing 10 toes down on her decision now. You know, I mean, with the whole separation, the whole divorce, it's like, nigga, no, this ain't it. And I think it's a lesson in pride for Offset.
I think that it's important that when someone cheats, if you decide to give them a chance, let that be the one last chance. Because it's human nature for people to keep testing you.
That's fair.
So if you decide to, you know, take that person back, make sure they know that that's the last time.
Yeah. Because
if they do it again, you're doing a disservice to yourself, your children, if you keep allowing it. Because you have daughters. There's even, you know, your sons are looking at this like, oh, it's cool. Like, if I do it, because I mean, she gon' take me back.
Yeah, and
especially minority women, we tend to hold men down.
That's true, and that's true, and that's kind of one of the things he's actually said in the live. It was like, "Don't worry, you'll be back," and and that's one reason why I say the "and" did, and all of the pictures and things that have come out of her at like, I think it was Fashion Week or some shit like that. She looks like she's having a good time. She's feeling good, apparently speaking, and you know he's got to sit in the background.
Yeah, Hennessy put that faja on Cardi. Right after she had that baby, and she's like, "No, we going out."
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, like I said before, I think that as women, especially, we should just leave their ass alone. When they show us who they really are, all right, go do that somewhere else, because it's your peace. You're like, you always have to like look over your shoulder, always have to side eye somebody because what they're doing, like what you think they may be doing, because it has happened. I'm not going through that.
Yeah.
I have personally never been cheated on that I know of, right? Like, I'm not going to try to be cocky, but men are they're
sneaky, surreptitious. What do you mean?
They're just not good at hiding things.
Yeah, okay.
So,
that's fair.
I mean, if they cheated on me, then I feel like I would have known, but whatever, right?
Right.
But I'm not someone who can probably forgive and then be okay.
Yeah.
I think it's going to take a lot for me, and I think I'd rather just not put myself or you through me always being suspicious and who you on the phone with and why you texting. Oh, you acting different. No, I think I should do both of us a favor and, just be out.
Yeah, no, I can respect that. Me personally, I've been cheated on multiple times in my relationships. Those always suck, that they always hurt, but then I learned that I can't be angry over any of that stuff. I have to grow above that, and then can't let the person I am with next pay for those prior transgressions. So I couldn't even want to be in that situation where it's like I'm looking through phones or using your Face ID or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? So I feel in this situation, I feel for Cardi, because having kids and devoting yourself in that way, I feel is different in a way for women versus men, and she's got to go do her thing with a smile on her face.
Yeah.
And she's got to do it in the midst of her own personal hurt that she's definitely feeling.
And having a newborn, like, I'm pretty sure the pregnancy was not that good.
Yeah.
Like, because, I'm pretty sure they was going through stuff before the media found out.
Yeah.
So to be pregnant and not with someone that's a lot of stress, and you don't care.
Yeah, I see it with that take about her being pregnant and having sex and all this. It's interesting to me that people use that as a poignant point, because, I would think that her being under stress over Offset being outside doing whatever he's doing while she's at home being pregnant is causing the baby more stress.
Yeah,
in the first place.
Would she really be wanting to have sex with somebody else?
And who gives a fuck if she did, though?
Yeah.
I could give less of a fuck than that, because truth be told, we all know that if you have sex when you're pregnant, it's actually easier and better for the woman when it comes to like labor and shit. But that's her thing to do. They're not together. That's her thing to do. Who cares? That's not causing as much stress as people would think as the fact that she can worry about what her husband is doing outside, or ex-husband was doing outside. I don't think it's the same.
I don't want to see them back together.
I don't either. She deserves better.
Yeah,
she
like,
can do
ever since she kind of came out, it's been them too.
Yeah.
So I'm loving to see what next summer looks like for Cardi.
Mm-hmm.
What wintertime gonna be looking for Cardi.
Yeah.
I hope she's done having kids too.
I want an album. Can we get an album, please?
I think she has an album, but she's allowed to have her kids. Let me just get my kids out the way and be done. That's what I think. Hopefully she doesn't. I'm not saying hopefully. She could be a woman who wants to have multiple kids. But I'm like, girl, just be done and go back to your rock star lifestyle and let's get this album.
She's never dropped the rock star lifestyle. She's always been quite the in the best way possible diva, and that's and I love her too. And I think that she's ultimately going to win out of this because, whenever this album comes out, whenever somebody go through a breakup,
she's going to be airing.
She's going to bar it the fuck up.
She's going to be airing that dirty laundry.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait either. Okay, so the main thing that I wanted to talk to you about and my baby girls about today was the whole fucking shits and gigs fucking
debacle controversy
with Andrew Schulz.
Okay.
First, I don't know how you watch him.
Oh, well, define watch.
Well, I don't know. After seeing that interview, because I had to watch pieces of everything, not pieces, but like watch this, then watch their apology, and then watch him react to the apology. So starting off with James and Fuhad at what is it?
ShxtsnGigs?
Or what's the name?
Flagrant 2?
Yeah, they were there, and I feel like with Andrew Schulz and just seeing little clips of previous episodes with him and having guests, that he likes to see if he's allowed to do certain things and say certain things. So when they were talking about the black girl effect, which was beautiful, right? Like, how can you turn something so positive into something so negative?
Fair.
And he was saying, like, oh, the men lose their hair black men lose their hair because they're so stressed out.
Right.
They have to have beards because it's like an extra padding.
Because we get slapped.
You guys we slap our men. I was like, okay. Let me turn to James and Fuhad and see what they're like cracking up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, let me see if I can see a little bit of some, all right, let's move on.
Right.
I feel like I didn't at first.
But, so, all right. There is a lot of context in there, even more so when we speed up, because they've had a kind of, I'd say a habit.
Yes, they do.
Of kind of down-putting black women in more surreptitious or shadier ways.
Because, and that's what Andrew Schulz played off of, because there's an old video with them before they had a studio and everything, and I remember it was Fuhad talking about he knew a girl from school, a black girl from school, and he was dating a white girl, obviously, and she wanted to have mixed babies, so she only dates black dudes. And she saw the girl on TV, the one he went to school with, and she was like, oh my God, like, I wish I could be her, I wish I was her. And he was like, why? Why would you even want to be black? Why would you want to be her? And James is laughing, he's like, yeah, bruv, like, what is it going on in your head that you would want to be black? And I'm like, look in the mirror. Look in the mirror. Like, so you're downplaying black women, also your mom, like, you're encouraging this white woman to just, like, you know, lean into her whiteness, and there's some hate going on there where you're
solidifying any other stereotypes and other things that she might have had in her preconceived notions about black women or anything like that. They do that a lot. When they were on another podcast, because they were on Flagrant because of the fact that they were doing an American tour of podcasts. And they were on another podcast, and excuse me for not remembering the one exactly, but it had two very beautiful black women on it.
It wasn't Ideally, though, so he don't remember.
There's that. That's fact. That's fact. But it took place in Atlanta.
Gotcha.
And in this, they were asking them whether or not they saw any baddies in Atlanta. And both of them said they'd never seen any baddies. There are no baddies. While simultaneously being in the same room with two baddies in front of them.
Cap. It was all cap. But you know what that meant, though, right? Any, like, especially if they dark, because we in the South.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you're going to see a lot of dark-skinned black girls, right? So that's not their stilo. They didn't see any... What was it? What does Dr. Umar call them? Snow bunnies. He didn't see any
But that's where I was getting at. They said that they were before getting to Atlanta, they were in Seattle. And in Seattle, there was a lot of baddies.
It was not. I never heard no shit like that before.
No, I don't even think they use the term baddies in Seattle.
Exactly. I'm not saying there ain't no baddies in Seattle. I love Seattle. But let's stop the cap, right? If you have to say, who has the most baddies, Atlanta or Seattle? Seattle not even on the damn spectrum. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. You would say people, strip clubs, women, food, you're going to say Atlanta.
It blows my mind that they were both sitting in the same room with two other women who were absolute baddies and said that. So with this repeated behavior, you can only imagine how Andrew Schulz and those two get in the same room together, what's gonna cook?
Yeah, and because he's seen their prior podcast episode, them being on other podcasts, he said, no, it's fine. And they're laughing, and I'm just like, this guy is racist. I don't care if you think it's not a joke. It was being racist, and there goes more black men not protecting black women.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for actual British black women because I've seen this TikTok influencer. Her name is like London Hughes. And she talks about how she doesn't date black British men in the UK. And she says the reason why I don't is because I've been called ugly. They don't like dark skin. They rather be either with a white girl or she has to be mixed.
That's gross.
And I've said this to you before. I only really see two types of black people in the UK. Either you're black, like African, like that. You can trace it right back to Africa, or you're mixed, like you're African and you're white, like whatever. So it's crazy that, of course, in the UK, like you're surrounded by a lot of Caucasian people, and you lean into that because you know no better, or I don't know who's teaching you as a black man that it's okay to downplay black women.
A lot of that I feel like could just be rooted in like societal norms and hatred and shit like that from the past. You know what I mean? A lot of that kind of stuff kind of still happens here in just media alone. You know what I mean? We're starting to get better with showing different color spectrums within our own personal color spectrum, but you still have your prototypical ones that you normally see. You know what I'm saying? And knowing that all that behavior between these two and what those two come from, where Andrew Schulz comes from, because again, I asked you earlier, define watch. The reason why I asked that was because, I mean, I used to listen to Andrew Schulz for a while, but this is when they had the Brilliant Idiots podcast, because Charlemagne was his counterbalance, Charlemagne the God.
Okay.
And I like Charlemagne the God a lot, or I did at that point, right? And so with that, it was a cool balance in between. He would check him on a few things, you know what I mean? So he would get the joke off, and if it was dumb, you had a nigga right there that would check him on it.
I think that's with Andrew Schulz, like, fans, I think they'll say, well, he's not racist because Brilliant Idiots. No.
Right, but when it started getting to a point where Charlemagne started, like, letting shit slide that wasn't cool, or in any case where he was just where Andrew was a habitual line crosser, I stopped watching him. I stopped viewing him. I stopped even I haven't subscribed to the Fragrant Tube thing in a while. I subscribed to clips because I see people I like that are on it, so I want to see their little clip things. But now at this point I have stopped.
I'm also kind of confused with that episode with having two minorities on top of the ShxtsnGigs guys.
Yeah.
Like, you have this Indian guy, you have the black guy. And I'm just like, so you guys let this ride all the time. That's why he gets away with it. Yes. He thinks it's funny because you guys are like, laughing.
That entire group
are goofballs.
They are. But they are of the cut from this comedy ilk, I'll say, where, you know, anything can be funny as if you do it right. But the thing being is that I believe in that too. I believe that anything can genuinely be funny if you do it right. But the thing is, the key phrase is if you do it right. They stop at anything can be funny.
Yeah, and then that's not true.
And that's not true. You have to do it eloquently.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the stuff that I've seen, especially within the climate that we're in socially, especially in the space that the world is in as a whole when it comes to racial relations, you gotta really learn how to, like, I don't know, pick your battles, read the room, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Maybe, and not be afraid to be like, nah. Put your head out and go, nah.
Yeah, because that was it, fight or flight is what they were saying.
Exactly, yeah, that's exactly where I was going.
I kind of get that, but I don't, because when they said that, it just, like, dinged in my head, like, oh, a lot of men are scared of other men. That's how I'm feeling. Right. Because why are you scared to check him? You feel like you're going to not get a check, or what is it?
It ain't like Andrew Schulz is Diddy.
Right.
Right. In any case, wrong is wrong.
Yeah, I don't care who it is. I don't care how much money you got.
It doesn't matter either.
Check the white boy though, right?
Yeah,
because
check the
he's
white
talking about your mother, your sisters, your cousins. He's talking about women. Yeah. Black women.
And that's disgusting. Mostly, even more so because their core audience is black
women. We are your consumers. We buy your tickets. We show up, and this is how you repay us.
Yeah, it's disappointing to see because they came across my timeline maybe a year and a half ago. Didn't sub to them, but I was like interested in what they had to say about black things in the UK over the pond. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I was like, huh. And a lot of stuff I was like, okay, we can relate. This, that, and the other. But then soon after, they started saying some other stuff on some other podcasts they've been on that I didn't fuck with.
Yeah.
It puts me in the same mindset of the manosphere people, the fresh and fit losers. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I mean, not too long ago, Myron of Fresh and Fit went into like a Twitter space, a racist Twitter space, right? Trying to be one of the boys and got called every name in the book and wasn't letting the club. You know what I'm saying? It. So he can't forget you still one of us, even if you don't want to be one of us. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's the same attitude I kind of feel and have for ShxtsnGigs.
Okay, so they apologize. I feel like with their apology, it seemed like they didn't want to look in the camera. It really felt like they didn't want to take too much responsibility. Andrew, he told a racist joke. Yeah, we get that, right? I get that, right? He told it. It was your responsibility not to laugh. And I didn't hear any apology to black women. It wasn't directly saying, hey, he's like my community, our community. No. Black women, I apologize. Yeah. I'm sorry that I allowed this asshole to speak about you. I'm sorry for the things we've said because since then, you guys have deleted over 100 videos. Why?
Because a lot of the content within it probably was disparaging of black women in one way, shape, or form before your core audience flips. You get into the algorithm and you could be thrown anywhere. You never know who's going to watch you or who's going to like you or whatever. Whoever picks up on you. What community. So when you get thrown into the community that actually will hold you down because you just spoke to black women holding niggas down constantly, right? I mean, you can make a lot of good choices with that type of crowd for your brand. They weren't apologizing to black women. They were apologizing for ruining their image and what the perspective of that black women or the whatever the community is had of them. Yeah. That's what they're apologizing to.
Back to like black women in the UK, I'm just scared. I'm like, so is this what you guys been dealing with? Yeah. Like guys like this?
Yeah.
The light-skinned one and the dark-skinned one, they don't want to mess with you.
I mean, it makes sense.
But then when black women date white guys, it's like, oh, why are you doing that? Because I have no choice. Mm-hmm. They don't want to mess with us. Mm-hmm. And then there's a man community that goes saying, oh, yeah, I don't mess with her. Look how nappy her is. Oh, I don't want to. And then you're telling other races that.
Affirming it, yes.
And it sucks because as black women, it's so hard to date in general. Mm-hmm. And dating out your side of your race is even worse. But why is it not for black men? What is that about?
I don't know.
And where's the
I think it's more of a fetishization type of situation on more ends probably. I couldn't answer that question because luckily me, I'm married to a beautiful black woman, so it's not like the same case for me in particular. You know, I don't know what kind of hierarchy or whatever works across the pond, but it still feels the same as similar as us.
I feel like so many races want to date black men, and it's not the same with black women.
I don't know.
There was this Indian YouTuber who said that his mom told him when he was very young, if you ever get in trouble, you find a black woman. And it sparked two different kind of conversations. On one end, there are black women who are really like, oh, wow, like, see you guys, like, but there's others that were like, why is it that we're always here to help, open our door, save, but we can't be saved?
True.
So, I mean, I saw both sides of that. Yeah. I understood it, like, because we're going to be here. We're going to open our doors for you. We're going to hold you down even though you don't hold us down. Mm-hmm. And the minute we don't, we ain't ride or dying for you. We this, we that, right?
Yeah.
So.
it's not fair because we know what the power is behind you guys. You know what I mean? We know what that kind of power is, what kind of benefit there is. It kind of does give credence to the beginning half of what they were saying in the joke of in ShxtsnGigs in that Flavor 2 podcast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The black woman effect, the black girl effect is a thing. You know what I mean? You level up. You know what I mean? In the beginning half of the joke, they recognize that, you know, if that niggas be getting haircuts and looking fly and have a little more money in their pocket. You know what I'm saying?
I wish they would have educated him and checked him. Because, they grow better. No, she's making me more attractive.
Yeah.
No, I'm cutting my hair because I need to be seen with this beautiful black woman. She raises me up the bar.
Yeah.
And then he'll sit there like many times where he's been checked and he has nothing to say.
Yeah.
When people are not laughing, then it never hits and he's not funny in real life.
Yeah. I don't see him faring well with a lot more than his core community outside of this because of those statements. I mean, he is married to a white woman, so he wouldn't have any idea of what the black girl effect truly is. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? As far as I understand, he's never dated a white woman or a black woman either, so I wouldn't know. But it was a disgusting thing for them to joke about. I think it was disgusting overall for them to not defend. Nobody, and I'll say this. I have a personal kind of beef, if you will, with Alex Media in particular. Because he is the black dude on the couch.
He flew under the radar, I feel like. And he was, when they did their apology and then Andrew and crew reacted to it, I was like, bro, you still laughing? Like, you look stupid, my guy.
And again, because they only finished the half of the joke where like anything is, or the saying that anything is can be funny. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And if anything can be funny, you still have to finish the rest of that if done correctly.
Right.
And
where's the punchline?
Where's the punchline? Is it done eloquently enough? Is it gonna make me think? Is it gonna speak to something? Is it satirical? None of that was okay. It was all disparaging. And for that black man to sit on that couch and still laugh it off 2 times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It says something that I feel like about his character personally. It says something about his character.
Yeah, absolutely. You find that token black guy who's going to go with everything you say, no matter if it does offend you or your community.
Yeah.
Because you're getting a check. That's what it's giving. It's giving a little bit of some coon vibes. It's giving a little bit of pick-me nigga vibes.
Yeah.
All 3 of them on that couch, and then including Andrew. They're all goofballs. Like, you guys are, like, black dude, you have an Indian dude there, and then you have the white dude. I'm like, so none of you guys ever feel offended? And he has made Indian jokes.
Yeah.
So when are you gonna say something, or you just
no? And then I think they'll step to the point that, hey, look, the podcast is called Flagrant, so we can be flagrant, yada 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 yada. But there is a level of respect you should have.
Yeah.
There's just a level of respect.
And he knows how to. When they were watching the apology, he knows how to try to twist it. And I'll give you this. They should have cut out that part too, but they didn't. Mm-hmm. But you shouldn't have said what you said. You're just trying to take the heat off of you and put it on 2 black men.
Yeah, Do
you guys see that?
Speaking to him, looking at it, and him basically saying like, yeah, they didn't speak to anything about cutting this part out, but they did, cut out some other things. So that comparison alone just means that you are trying to drop the blame.
Yeah.
No, like you just said, you're trying to blame it on 2 black men. You're just as accountable.
Yeah. Did he ever apologize or no?
No, he does.
He said he's not, right?
Andrew's not going to apologize for his jokes and for comedy. And like again, for comedy's sake.
He just want to say it's comedy. It's not comedy. You're not funny at all, and you just use risque. You have a room full of white people who will laugh at you.
Yeah.
At you.
Yeah.
And then you'll find those token minorities that want to check that'll do the same thing. I was like so disappointed, and I was like boiling when I was watching. I said, why am I watching? Like, this is pissing me off. Like,
I think it was a huge help for black women who really enjoyed their content, really connected with it, felt relatable, felt like they might have been learning something from some people across the pond. You know what I mean? It sucks to see them burn down that community, knowing that type of community will always more than likely stand them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what to expect in the next couple weeks. People think that they may be canceled. You think that will happen? I don't know. The powers of B will probably always cut them a check. I think they were just responsible. HR said, "Hey, you need to apologize." And
I think it's going to be a matter of this. That there's going to be an audience that fought against the people who were like saying that this is fucked up. And that audience that said, no, it's not, it's comedy, and no, not, they're not making the joke, or they said sorry already, so forgive them. They're going to be the ones to go back, give them listens, give them watches, and start refueling them again, and they'll see as it was a bump in the road.
Keep that
less
shit in the UK.
Cancellation.
Don't bring that over to America because we're going to play that stuff.
It'll be less than cancellation, for sure.
The TikTok influencer in London, she was like, when she came to America, she was like, that was the first time that she ever had been, like, desired by black men. She was like, what? She was like, I've only dated white guys. They, they never said, oh, keep your wig on, or, like, she's said in the UK when she's been with black men, they're like, well, can you keep your wig on? Because I don't want to see that. I'm like, so your mom don't look like this? Like, I got some braids underneath this wig, right? But it'll be the white guys who will be helping her take her hair down. So that's why she was like, I never date black men in the UK because of how they treat us.
Yeah.
So when she went to America, she was like, whoa, like, I date black guys now.
It's a culture shock.
And when she also said about how people would be very racist in the UK to her about her skin, like, oh, your skin is ugly. Yeah. Oh, why would you want to be dark? Like that, those type of things.
We know what racism is, for sure.
So she was like, why would they say that? Like when she talked to, like, American black women, they're, like, shocked, like, why haven't you said anything? And she was like, she was so used to it. I'm pretty sure a lot of UK girls are used to kind of black girls not saying anything, just being like, I'm going to just let it go. Yeah. Because, like, there's no one to stand up to you. When you're 1 out of 10, you're going to look like the crazy black girl for saying something because you didn't get that joke.
Of course. Yeah. So. It's a repetitive cycle. It's probably never going to stop up until the voices who are disfranchised have the chance to speak loudly enough. And this is where, like, niggas' wallets get involved.
I really hope so. That's
pull away from Patreons. To go away from YouTube memberships. You know what I'm saying? Pull away from them. Use that somewhere else. Go to a different podcast and support it. You can support us.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's a matter of taking your energy, your money, your time elsewhere, and let that be the thing that sticks with them to know that, hey, what you did was fucked up and is fucked up. You know what I'm saying?
I just subscribed to them like the beginning of the year, and then I just unsubscribed. I was like, what?
Yeah, I was liking their stuff a bit when it came to, like, YouTube Shorts and shit like that. But then after a while, I phased them completely out of my
because most of their content is just funny stuff on, like, Reddit and Twitter. Yeah, that's basically what their whole, like, podcast
it feels a bit recycled. You know what I mean? You got to have a bit more creativity. I mean, when you're doing a lot of that stuff, so
they can't come back over here.
Nah,
they can't because we don't even play those games.
It probably won't be the same audience they'll go to, the same type of podcast. Like I'll probably see that instead of doing the podcast they did in Atlanta, they'll probably go do a nigga like a Theo Vaughn or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Somebody on that other comedy circuit,
maybe.
Who's if they can get onto Andrew Schulz, they're probably going to get over to Theo and then probably get over to Bert and all these other people to try to get over around the Joe Rogan types, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think the audience they did have is going to support the move they are now doing now.
I don't think that enough UK people or people who are not in the United States knows the struggle about being black Americans. Mm-hmm. Once we got under the thumb of colonizers, and we worked so hard for so many years to be treated like an equal, we are not going back.
No.
We're gonna speak up.
Yeah.
So and to see black men, it's like, no.
Yeah.
So have you ever dealt with something like that? Like where maybe like a guy in your group or somebody you knew, maybe you were hanging out at a party, said something like similar about like black women?
No, I can't really say I have. Oh, you know what? Yes. Yeah, I had a coworker a few times. Back in my old testing days during a lunch break or two, say something. And I let it slide one time just to see how comfortable he felt. And then he did it again. I can't remember the moment in particular. But I remember saying to him, you're not going to speak like that. Not in this car.
Was it about?
It was black women.
People or
black
women?
Yeah, black women. Because we were talking about not you being. I was like having we were having our kid, or he was like a baby. It was around there somewhere, so long ago. But we were talking about that stuff, and we got into the man talk about shit, and he said some shit that I didn't like. And that's the thing. What the problem is if you don't like what that person said, that's a good thing, right? That's a good thing that I didn't like that, because I was able to step in front of it and do some shit about it, say it. But the fact that there was no real type of like defense mechanism to protect, again, it just don't sit right with me. Black women have go through enough when it comes to a bunch of shit around the world. I won't say in this country, around the world.
Yeah. You
know what I'm saying? And there's never enough credit given. There's never enough protection given. And like you said, it's about, we are standing up and our voices are getting louder, but we need more of that.
Yeah, we need people to be checked again, because, like, I think that first time letting it slide was like, oh, I mean, there was a black guy in there, and I said what I said, so he's fine with this, so I'm going to be free, because this is how I really talk.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm going to be honest, when it comes to me talking to white people, my guard is always up. I'm going to always think you're racist until you prove you're not. That's how it is, because I live in a country that didn't give a shit about it.
And still kind of doesn't.
Right. So I'm going to always think you're racist until you prove you're not.
Yeah.
So some of them, not all white people, of course, but some feel like, let me see what I can say, because this is what I say at home.
Yeah.
Let me see how far I can take with, because I'm cool with this black person.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see what I can kind of get off. And you're going to get off it with me, because I'm going to put you in your place. Karen, Jacob, you know, like, so, I mean, I hope they learned a lesson. I hope they, like, genuinely are learning this lesson, not just because they took a hit to their pod or to their persona, whatever it is.
The brand.
Like, think about whoever is black in your family. You look African, bro. Like,
I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. I don't know if I'll keep eyes on it.
I'm over it, but I think it was important for us to give our view on it.
Of course.
But I just think that this is a learning stepstone, I hope, for them.
Yeah.
And they actually I need to.
A big learning experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, maybe they haven't.
I don't want to see black people fail. Don't get me wrong, but I do want you to learn.
But then also, if you haven't been with a black woman, and you can't speak to it, right? So if you have been with a black woman, they treated you well, then you maybe would have said something. But because you have not really dealt with that, and you only deal with stereotypes, what you think a black woman does, you allowed Andrew to just say what the hell you wanted to say. And you said what you probably not even speaking on what you've actually gone through.
Again, if they didn't catch I don't like that feeling. It's the problem.
Yeah, fight or flight, I guess. And I'm like, oh, well, these are the men we're supposed to be allowing to protect us. I don't know. Do you have any last words of wisdom before we head out for the weekend?
Love your local black woman.
Remember, you guys, we drop our new pod every Friday on all streaming platforms, audio-wise. And we're on YouTube on Sundays at Ideally The Pod. So like, subscribe, hit the bell button.
Share them shits.
And we'll catch you guys next week. Bye.
Here.